So this video is going to be about a little bit about medication. I'm going to talk a little bit about medication and my experience in working with people that have been on medication and people who have come off it and people that are still on it and why people are on medication. And just from my point of view, I'm not a doctor. I'm not making any recommendations. I'm just going to give a little bit of insight from just my opinion. It's just my experience. I've been working for over 13 years with people with mental health issues. And I kind of coach them to changing how they think and feel, and I change how they interpret reality, and I change it with their I help them to change their beliefs so that they're not feeling uncomfortable. And it's a different approach than modern day therapy, and it's not hairy fairy stuff. It's practical thinking. It's changing how someone thinks and feels. So I've got a good bit of experience in noticing the difference between medication and people that are not on medication and people that try to come off medication on their own. So I'm not advocating for anything here. I'm just giving my opinion. I'm not telling anybody to come off medication. Medication is great and it's necessary sometimes. And when I was going through a bad time, I thought it was great because it helped me just get through that. There was a time in my life where I was just overwhelmed and stressed. A lot of things happened. And my nervous system was kind of shot, and I was able to take some medication and I felt good for a while. And it just gave me enough of a break away from feeling bad to be able to change how I think so that my thinking started to work out. And then as my thinking was changing, I started to feel better. Then I didn't need anything. So Molly was talking about she's on medication and she's going to the doctors and there doesn't seem to be like there's any help there. Now, I do understand why, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but when someone's feeling bad, they have to go somewhere to get it looked after. And certain times when they go to get help, the only solution that they have is just to help you to numb the feelings for a while. And some people are on the medication all their life, and that's necessary. There's certain people that do need it, and I'm just trying to clear up that what can be the consequences and what's the possibility that you could consider, right? So something that you can consider, that if you're considering coming off medication, there's not much opportunities there to have someone to be able to get you to understand what you're going to feel after you come off them. Because now, at the moment, especially over the past few years, your feelings have become the enemy. And every feeling, if you're not able to label it properly, and it's the mislabel of feelings that's caused these problems in society. So when someone's gone through a hard time, a long time ago, people just went through the hard time and they struggled and they suffered and then they got out the other side. So they started to develop like a coping mechanism that, oh, it's okay, it will pass. But what happened is that people started to label these feelings as bad. So anxiety has become the enemy and it's bad now, where it's really your friend. It's there to let you know if something's right or wrong, or if you're going the right way or the wrong way. And to take it away altogether would be counterproductive in your safety, because it's also there to protect you from making the wrong decisions. And the medication suppresses the anticipation, takes that edge off it, which is good, and it feels good, and it's better than suffering. I will say that. It's better than anybody that's suffering. Just go to your doctor and get the medication. What I'm here to do is to get you to consider something. That what if you could come to peace with your feelings? That the feelings weren't the enemy anymore. They were just something that was there to let you know if something's wrong in your life. And there's a lot of things wrong in people's lives. And to cover the feelings up will get you to be able to go through that difficult period. But what happens after a period of time, and I'm sure I'm not just saying this now, I'm not just starting up this conversation. Many people are feeling this. So this is for the people who like, yeah, that's me. This is not to talk to people who are going to attack me. And like, I can just see some therapists like, don't talk, you can't come off the medication, stay on it. And I'm not, this is not for you. This is for the people who are thinking, okay, there has to be more to it than this. What are the other possibilities? And I'm not saying these are the answers. What if you could come to peace with your feelings so that when the feelings showed up, you didn't label it straight away, oh my God, I'm feeling bad, I should be feeling good. And you let go of the idea that you're supposed to be feeling a particular way all the time. That way, when the feelings come up, they might be actually genuinely telling you you're not being the best you that you can be. But to push those feelings down and cover them up, you're going to take away the anticipation. And you can anticipate good things or you can anticipate bad things. What I find happens, people, is they lose their anticipation in most cases altogether. So they can't anticipate good things. Anticipation is like an affirmation. It's imagining something happening. And when you imagine something happening, whether it's bad or good, if you imagine something bad happening, it stores up bad feelings. So people that have anxiety are always in the future. And for me, people that suffer a lot with depression mainly spend their time in the past, right? So people that have anxiety always anticipate what could go wrong, who could be there, what am I going to lose? They're thinking about all of those things, and the body is going to react to those thoughts, and they're going to stir up feelings. And that's good if you're doing it in an ethical way and you're doing it in a way that's rational and not irrational. Now, when you do that, you'll start to feel your blood pressure rising, your heart rate increasing, and butterflies in your stomach, and blood rushing from your brain down to your body. But also, if you think about anticipation in a good way, I mean, you're anticipating something good happening, like a child on Christmas morning, your heart rate will increase, your mind will start racing, and your blood pressure will go up, and the blood will start to flow into your main extremities. But this would be labelled as a good thing, and the feelings are pretty close to each other, depending on how far you go one way or another. So if you take medication, maybe the reason that you're not happy and you feel like something's not right, like Jim Carrey said this, it just made everything okay. And after a while, I was like, I don't want everything to be okay. I want everything to be better. So it took away the ability to feel everything is better. So they couldn't get excited about anything. And if you're aware of this, then it might not be a problem. If you become aware of, okay, this is just what the medication is doing. There's nothing wrong with me. The medication's working. And that if the feelings come up, I'm just not going to label them as bad. I'm not going to say they're good or bad. They're just my feelings. And if you do that, then what will happen in most cases, I'm not saying in all cases, because some people genuinely have stuff going on inside of them. In most cases, without the story that you have the problem, the feeling will go away, and it has a lifespan. Every feeling has a really short lifespan, and it'll only stay there if you keep throwing logs on the fire. So there's many studies that were done that the maximum lifespan of a feeling is 90 seconds. Now, I know most people out there are going, I've felt like this for 30 years. But the only reason that people keep feeling bad is because they keep thinking bad. And if they stopped thinking bad, the bad feeling will dissipate. It's almost like the same reason if you stop telling funny stories. If you're telling a funny story and you're laughing and then you stop telling the funny story, what happens to the funny feelings? They dissipate after 60 to 90 seconds. That's just the way the nervous system works. It's waiting for instructions. Most people that struggle with anxiety, they're always thinking, what's wrong? Why do I feel like this? Why am I not happy? Why? And they get caught in the why trap, and they start to they could be in that for 20 or 30 years. And then anything that's different than that becomes a problem as well. So if they start to think better and things are going right, they start to automatically default back. Okay, things are going right now. When are they going to start going wrong? So the thinking is the main part, but also I find that your ability to label the feelings, or the ability to stop labeling them altogether and not make the feelings good or bad, they're just feelings. And if you give them any value, they'll torment you. And they'll get in the way of you being the best you that you can be. But they're only there to let you know if you're going to, maybe you're not doing anything new in your life, and your feelings are kind of like telling you that you could be doing more. And it could be just a subtle feeling, but then you start to feel bad about that feeling. Now you're starting a whole new problem that has nothing to do with the feeling. Now you're feeling bad about feeling bad, and you start a whole new fire over here that had nothing to do with the original fire. And this is where it gets out of control. And then to go to the doctor and go, look, I'm just not happy. I think I'll come off the medication. And if I was that doctor, I'd be saying, no, don't. No, don't go. Because most of the doctors don't know how to teach you how to think. They don't have the time to teach you how to start thinking differently. So they're thinking if you come off the medication, you're going to get a feeling that's going to come up and you're going to label it as bad. Where really, wouldn't sometimes having access to all your feelings be a good thing? Wouldn't it be better to be able to have access to all your feelings, but only when you really need them? So that you can feel bad if you're making bad decisions, but feel good about being able to feel bad, knowing that you can change your behavior and take action and move in the right direction. So now that bad feeling becomes good. It's not labeled bad anymore. And if you stop labeling them all together, where you're just using the feelings as a sense This is only I'm just generally kind of just throwing this out here. It's hard to give this information out as an overall umbrella for everybody, because there's going to be people that will get hostile and dismissive. There's going to be people that will be able to relate to it and say, that's me. There's going to be people out there that are going to get massive value from this. There's going to be people out there that are going to misunderstand what I'm saying and try and say, hey, you, and they won't listen to what I'm saying. They'll, I have to go back. I don't even answer to them. You have to go back and go, no, that's not what I said. I said this wasn't for everybody. You should listen to this stuff. It's not for everybody. The comment came up, and it's a very common subject that's very delicate, and it's very hard for people to, talk about it, because it's a touchy subject. The pharmaceutical industry have their hands around people's throats. It's like you can't challenge these people. You're better off, if you're in this industry, just, it's wrong, but keeping away from talking about that particular subject, because it's so controversial, medication, and especially with doctors, because how dare you tell me that I'm not interested in even talking to them. All I'm saying is what I'm doing is, when I was helping people off medication, I don't do too much of it anymore. I was able to help them to start changing how they think, and then they realized they didn't need it, and they were looking forward to being able to feel angry, because there was genuine reasons they should have been angry, and they spoke up for themselves. Whereas if they have anger problems and they get angry at somebody's going to go, oh, you need to take your pills. Like, what's wrong with you? Take your pills. And maybe they should be angry, maybe, but how often are you angry, and how long are you angry? And is it realistic, or is it irrational? This is what we have to figure out. Anger is good if you're standing up for yourself. People should be angry now. There's shit going on in the world that's not right, and you have to stand up and say, hold on a minute, But if you're suppressed, then you're not going to stand up for yourself, and it's going to feel like something's wrong. And if you're not happy and you see everybody else laughing, you're going to be, why am I laughing like them? Because the medication suppresses nearly all emotions. It's like a capsule around your anticipation, and anticipation is excitement. So for example, I'll give you one more example, then I'm just going to kind of try and wrap this up. I worked with a woman a good long time ago, and she wanted to lose weight, okay? And she was on medication. And I at the time, we were told, like, you're probably better off not working with people on medication, because you can't really get leverage with them. But I was like, no, I'm gonna try and help this woman, and I think we could have an honest and open conversation about what's actually happening in the session. And I spoke to her about it. I said, look, this is normal. Just for your own sake, I don't want to take your money, because I need leverage. I need to make you cry. I need to make you laugh. And if we have leverage on those feelings, then we can start to connect those feelings to things in your life. And she went off and she said, okay, let me think about it. She went off, and a couple of months later she came back and she was off her medication. I didn't tell her to do it. I just told her what way the session wasn't going to work, or whether it was going to work or not, right? I wanted to be open and honest to her. I didn't want to just take her money and say, okay. So what she noticed was she started to lose weight on her own, because she said she went to McDonald's, and her son ordered McDonald's, and she didn't order McDonald's, and she felt great. She said, normally I said I wouldn't feel good. I was thinking about buying it for myself, and then I felt bad. I said, no, I'm not doing that. I don't want to put on the weight. And she went up to the counter, and she felt guilty, and she felt bad. And she was like, this is great. Now I feel bad about eating the wrong food. Isn't that what you're supposed to feel? And she felt good about being able to feel bad. And when she didn't eat the McDonald's, she felt good. But she said, I haven't felt good in years. I just felt okay. And she said, one day we went out, we're at a party, and my son said to me, Ma'am, you really laughed that time. I've never seen you really laugh. She said, I always laugh. And the little kid said, no, you laughed from your belly. It was a belly laugh. And she said, it just clicked with me. Before, she was laughing along, but she wasn't laughing like properly. It wasn't a feeling. It was kind of like, she was just like, ha, 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 ha. She wasn't really feeling it. This time, it was like a giggle. Anticipation is helpful sometimes. And if you stop labeling it and you start to train your mind to come to peace with feelings, that feelings are only there to let you know if you're going the right way or the wrong way, but they don't mean anything. They can't shoot you. They can't kill you. They can torment you if you don't let go of trying to label them all the time. It's like, this feeling means this one's bad and this one's good. And this bad feeling is bad, but sometimes that bad feeling can be good because it might protect you. Isn't that good? And feeling good all the time is unrealistic, because if things are going wrong in your life, you still want to feel good. Wouldn't that be bad? So stop labeling them bad or good. They're just feelings. And feelings are so in flux all of the time with nature that none of them can be labeled. They're changing, and they can mean different things in different contexts with different chemistry going on. And the obsession with labeling them is crazy at the moment. What does the feeling mean? Depends on who you ask. And if someone says what their feeling means, who told them that's what it means? You know, oh, that's just your anxiety, and there's all these mislabeling of feelings that when you're a kid and you're feeling like, let's say you go into the shop and you're a kid and you see something that you want and you have this feeling of desire and want, and your mother hasn't got the money, and your mother says, no, you can't have that, you don't need it. After a while, that feeling gets labeled for you. And now that feeling of desire means you don't want it and you don't need it. And then you end up going to the shop and you see something when you're older and you go to buy it. And this feeling comes up of desire. And the first thing your brain's going to go, that means you don't need it. And those people never buy anything for themselves. They'll buy something for somebody else, but they'll never buy anything for themselves because they feel guilty. And they feel like they didn't need it, and they'll justify it. And if I ask what the feeling is like, they'll explain desire to me. And if I say, what does it mean? They'll say, it means I don't need it. First thing that comes to my mind, I don't really need it. Who told you that? My mother. No, they won't say that consciously, but if you dig a little bit deeper, somebody told them what their feelings mean. Or otherwise, how would you know? That's why kids don't have like long-term problems, is because they don't know what their feelings mean. They just have it and it phases away and it's gone, and they're just getting on with their life. They're not thinking about like, why was I feeling bad 3 days ago? So medication's good, and it can help people get through tough times. And my advice would be, start discovering how to purposely train yourself to think better and to let go of labeling feelings. And without the label, the feeling will have no meaning. And without the meaning, there's no power behind it. If you go to a doctor and you say to a doctor, I'm thinking of coming off this medication, he's like, I don't know what to tell you. My advice would be to stay on it. That's what they're going to say. My advice would be to stay on it, because I don't know how to tell you to think better. He's got a list of feelings that have tags on them as problems. What are you feeling? I'm feeling frustrated. Take your pills, pay your bills, go back to work. There you go. There's a pill for frustration. But frustration is good. If I don't do anything, I'm going to feel frustrated. Like if I'm sitting on a beanbag all day watching the TV, I'm going to feel frustrated. But that's good, isn't it? So my advice would be to start discovering how to let go of wanting to know why, wanting to know what they mean, and do this in an ethical way, and do it in line with your doctor or your therapist, and ask them, how can I move in this direction? How can I move more in this direction? And don't think of it as a fight or a battle. You're going to have to say this or that. This is a common question people have, and I just thought I'd do a video on it. And here it is, and here's the best I can do with a video. And yeah, so I don't particularly get involved in that particular field anymore of working with people that are on medication. I specialize in working with men over 40 that are struggling with emotional burnout and that need a enhance their career satisfaction. That's just the way it worked out for me, because that became 90% of my clients were from that particular age bracket. And I can relate to them because I'm over 40. I don't know if you can tell or not, my grey hair, but I'm over 40. I can relate to them, and we can it just works better for me. I've learned all I can from all the other stuff, and I don't want to spread myself too far, otherwise it starts to affect me. So I don't work with people anymore that are having those specific issues they want to transfer from being on medication. But there's lots of things out there. Watch my videos. My videos are going to be super helpful to you if you watch them, because they're going to get you to think differently. And they're going to get you to think in a unique way that's not the same as everything. That's not just being positive. It's really changing and understanding when you're changing these thoughts, what's going to happen underneath. So this video is 20 minutes. I was thinking to myself, I'm going to make a 3-minute video. But when you're talking about medication, you could be talking about it for hours. So hope this helps people out there. If it does, let me know. Leave a comment and ask me a question. And you know what? I do videos on comments because they're what real people want, to hear. And I hope that they're helpful or help someone that you care about. Send this on to them. Thanks. I'm Paul Campbell, and I'll see you in the next